loud and proud in this series, and it's now on to Game 3 in a gorgeous Wednesday afternoon. It is hot, sun's out, perfect for baseball. The Brewers and Blue Jays, the rubber match of this three-game series. Joe Carino, his second major league start today, just called up from AAA, will pitch for the Blue Jays. Giovanni Gallardo looks for his sixth victory and trying to get the Brewers a series win. And how about Aramis Ramirez working his way up the charts on the old Grand Slam list among active players right now? He hit his 10th in yesterday's game, and the Brewers want to make the most of those big hits. They couldn't do it as the Jays outslugged the Brewers in Game 2 yesterday. Dave and Craig back on board with you here on Fox Sports Wisconsin, but Ramirez big slam yesterday. Lately, though, he has looked more like the Aramis Ramirez that we all thought we'd see, who came over after a long tenure from the Chicago Cubs.
Well, that's right. And, you know, partner, they were just hoping they'd see that like in April and May, but it wasn't happening. But Aramis, this guy's a professional hitter, very good hitter. He's a run producer. This is what they're starting to see from him now.
Last 21 games, he's putting up some monster numbers, and more importantly, those power numbers are there. And speaking of power, the Blue Jays have certainly displayed their power. You take a look at the American League home run board right now, and they rank second to the Yankees. They have jumped all the way up to 100 in this series. 1, 2, 3, 4 hitters have done tremendous damage, hitting 9 total in this game. The great Gallardo. Yo needs to be great today to not only get a win, but to save a taxed bullpen. B.A. Rock explained that as the Brewers go for a series win in interleague play against the Blue Jays next.
Sports Wisconsin is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, because when friends come together, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By Toyota. When you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. And just moments away from the first pitch, matinee baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin today. Giovanni Gallardo, he has 5 wins this year, only 2 of them here at home, but he has pitched very well here at Miller Park this season, and he's going against the power tandem of Jose Bautista, who has 3 hits, all homers in this series, and Edwin Encarnacion, 3 hits as well. He's hit 2 home runs. The Blue Jays yesterday with 6 homers, 9 total. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Giovanni Gallardo will try to keep that pace down today. The Blue Jays, one of the heavy-hitting teams in all of baseball rock. Gallardo's got a challenge today. The Blue Jays are going to go bullpen by committee, you would think. So it's very important that Gallardo pitch well today.
Yeah, and the problems that he's had from time to time this year is giving up the home run. It is hot. The ball's going to be flying out of Miller Park here today. Very important for Yo to be able to get ahead in the count, keep the baseball down. He's really only had 1 rough start since the end of April. And the good thing for the Brewers right now, with the bullpen kind of in flux, he's gone at least 6 innings in his last 9 starts. The Brewers have won 5 of its last 6, so the Brewers will need a good long start from Gallardo here today.
If the Brewers are going to fight their way back into the pennant race, they have to win series. They have a chance to do that here this afternoon. The rubber game of this best of 3 for the Blue Jays. It's coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. The ball flying out of Miller Park in this series. Giovanni Gallardo hopes to change all that this afternoon. Game 3 of this 3-game set. The Brewers and the Toronto Blue Jays. Interleague Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. As Giovanni Gallardo is ready to take on John Farrell's Blue Jays. Former pitching coach, former big league pitcher, and he's seen a lot of offense with his team. Piggly Wiggly batting order for the Blue Jays. Brett Laurie leads off. Colby Rasmus, then Jose Bautista. Edwin Encarnacion, Kelly Johnson, and Jeff Mathis. Mathis gets his first start. Omar Vizquel at short today with Rajay Davis. And Joel Carreño on the mound for the Blue Jays up from AAA. There is Giovanni Gallardo. He's making his 15th start of the season and trying to break from a 500 record, going after win number 6 today, Ron.
Yeah, pitched pretty well last time out. Got a no decision at Minnesota. 3 runs in 6 innings. And He's making his first career start against the Blue Jays.
Brett Laurie leads off, swings at the first pitch. And for the first time in this series, Laurie has been retired in his first at bat. Defensively behind Gallardo today, it's Braun, Gomez, and Morgan in the outfield. No Aoki in the lineup. Ramirez, Ransom, Weeks, and Hart go around the horn with Martin Maldonado doing the catching. Brewers defense brought to you by Menards. Beautiful blue skies up above. It is very hot here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 90 degrees, a lot of humidity. Good baseball weather, but can be a little uncomfortable on the third base side of Miller Park. Those that are in the sun.
Kerwin Danley, the home plate umpire, got to keep an eye on him today. I would imagine he's going to lose a few pounds back behind home plate.
Yeah, Kerwin Danley is the crew chief. Paul Nart, Doug Eddings, and Alan Porter on the bases. The men in black these days. Colby Rasmus had a big home run last night. Matter of fact, he had 2 last night, but his 9th inning homer tied the game. It has been a story of the home run ball in this series. The Toronto Blue Jays hit 6 yesterday. They hit back-to-back-to-back home runs in yesterday's game, and if you add them all up, home runs in this series, the Blue Jays with 9 total. The Brewers have hit 2. 11 total homers. And we kind of expected that, the way the heat plays in this ballpark, and the way the wind blows, comes in through the panels and through the open roof, and then shoots out into the gaps.
Miller Park should be a launching pad today. Day game, hot. Got a little bit of a breeze, and important for Giovanni to keep the baseball down. If he throws that curveball, got to keep it down in the strike zone. This lineup for the Blue Jays has power up and down from 1 through 8.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Rasmus. That one's down in the dirt. Colby Rasmus, former Cardinal, traded to the Blue Jays last year. The return on that trade paid huge dividends for the St. Louis Cardinals, receiving 3 players, including Zepchinski and Dotel. There's a called strike. Gallardo punches Rasmus's ticket in the first inning. 2 gone. And here comes Jose Bautista. What a star he has turned into. Bautista, the last 2 years, has been an all-star starter, and he is proving that he can be an all-star starter once again this year. Hit a 3-run game-tying homer on Monday night, and then hit 2 homers yesterday.
And one of them coming to right field, something that he very rarely does.
That home run he hit yesterday to right was in the 9th inning off Axford. It gave the Blue Jays a 1-run lead. They would not relinquish that lead, and they won yesterday. 10-9 was the final score. There were a combined 23 hits in yesterday's game. Bautista swings for the fences all the time. He's hit 9 home runs in his last 16 games, and he starts play today with 22 home runs and 52 RBIs. The 1-2. Little tapper foul.
And Bautista, he's a guy that stands right on top of the plate, a little bit of an open stance, and just daring you to come inside. If you miss on him, he's going to take you out of the ballpark. As close as he is to the plate, that outside corner, not too difficult to get to.
Bautista checks in second in the American League in homers. He trails Adam Dunn by 1. Gallardo deals a 1-2, misses away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Can also find Bautista among the American League leaders in RBIs. Josh Hamilton leads the league with 64. Bautista is third with 52 ribbies. And a swing and a miss. Gallardo strikes him out. Great start for Giovanni Gallardo. 3 up and 3 down with a couple of K-boys. for it. Ron Renicky, the Brewers skipper, hoping to see his team pull off a victory today and get a series win here at home against the Toronto Blue Jays. Piggly Wiggly batting order. Carlos Gomez is in the leadoff spot here today. Nigel Morgan bats second. Ryan Braun in the 3-hole. And then it's Aramis Ramirez, Corey Hart, and Ricky Weeks. Cody Ransom starts at short. Martin Maldonado, and then Giovanni Gallardo. And that is the lineup that will face the Blue Jays starter for the second straight day. Toronto going into their minor league system. Today it is Joel Carreño, who is up from AAA Las Vegas.
Yeah, he started the year with AA, the New Hampshire ball club in the Southern League, or I should say the Eastern League. It's combined between AA and AAA, 3-6 and a 524 earned run average. You see his numbers early in the year this year with the Blue Jays.
And a spot start back in April for Toronto. Defensively for the Blue Jays, it's Davis, Rasmussen, Bautista. Same three outfielders. You got Vizquel starting at short today. He and Johnson up the middle with Laurie and Encarnacion on the corners. And Jeff Mathis start number one of this series for Toronto. Catching the 25-year-old Dominican, Joel Carreño. And Gomez lets it loose on the first pitch. 0-1 to count. Nori Aoki a day off after an 0-for yesterday. So the top two in the order with Gomez and Nigel Morgan, the two that made up that very successful platoon in center field last year. They were rarely in the lineup together, at least to start a game. We'll see how Gomez handles himself in the leadoff spot today.
Carreño, a guy that has a very good sinking fastball, not overpowering. Brewers have to make him get his pitches up in the strike zone early in the count. He gets a lot of ground ball outs. When he gets that sinker working for him, a slider, he'll throw an occasional changeup, but basically a two-pitch pitcher.
And he strikes out Carlos Gomez.
Oh, and you look at this guy's numbers down in the minor leagues. 663 strikeouts in 617 innings in his minor league career. So it tells you that he's got good stuff. Keeps the baseball down. He can have control problems, so the Brewers need to wait him out a bit.
His strikeout numbers have been very good, especially last year, a full season in AA in New Hampshire. But his numbers this year between AA and AAA, not so good. You look at his overall ERA between those two stops, a 5.24 earned run average. Carreño making 4 starts in AAA, had 7 starts in AA, and they've used him in the big leagues on 5 occasions as well. So he's been that swing guy. He's only 25, but he's bounced up and down the system. And he is filling a huge void for Toronto. They lost 3 starters last week. Lost 3 of their starting pitchers in a 4-day span.
So emergency starts in back-to-back days for the Blue Jays.
1-1 to Nigel Morgan as he pulls one foul. Ball and 2 strikes.
The New Hampshire Fisher Cats. That's a cool name. AA team in the Eastern League.
Yeah, it's a relatively new team, at least the new name in the Eastern League. That's a good league. A lot easier travel in the Eastern League than the Southern League.
Right.
Or the Texas League. I can vouch for the Texas League.
So can I.
There's some serious bus rides in that one.
Right. Wow. Back in the old days, back in the early 80s, it's you know, El Paso to Shreveport, Little Rock, all on buses.
Yeah.
Got to know your teammates pretty well on those trips.
Yes. Got to know more about them than you'd ever want to know. And like I always say, Rock, your worst day in the big leagues is better than your best day in the minor leagues.
But I tell you, in minor leagues, you talk to every big leaguer, they'll tell you they had the most fun that they've ever had. Actually, just playing the game. We're not talking about money or travel. Just minor league baseball. A lot of fun.
Nigel Morgan takes a call at strike 3. A little backdoor breaking ball. And back-to-back Ks to start this game for Carreño. And here comes Ryan Braun. He'll bat with the bases empty. He is sitting on a 14-game hitting streak right now. And Braun with 5 home runs, 13 RBIs during the streak. And another RBI last night. Threw a bases loaded walk in last night's game. He has a couple in this series. Ryan Braun is also riding a 24-game interleague hitting streak, if you like that number. That's courtesy of Mike Vasallo's award-winning game notes.
And you saw the video. The reason that Ryan's been able to get on such a good stretch, he's hitting the ball where it's pitched. That's something that he does all the time. But anybody that's going to have long hitting streaks, you're not going to have 3 for 4s every day. Got to hit it where it's pitched, use the whole field.
Braun sends one to left field, slightly off the end of the bat, and this will be caught. And Carreño with a 1-2-3 inning, a couple of Ks. Scoreless first, off and running here at Miller Park.
And on sultry day at Miller Park, I'm Drew Olson reporting from the sideline. In his pregame briefing with reporters, Brewers manager Ron Renneke hinted that Sean Markham could be headed for the 15-day disabled list. And guys, it might not be so much because he's unable to pitch, but the Brewers need some bullpen help heading into series at Chicago and Cincinnati. And that would allow them to bring up a reliever that can help immediately. Skip Markham with off days tomorrow and next Thursday. The Brewers can juggle their rotation and get Markham back by the end of the month.
And Drew, they're looking at Marco Estrada and his availability as he returns. And Estrada will be pitching tomorrow and a rehab start. And then Estrada, if everything goes well tomorrow, Rock, is supposed to be back on the mound Tuesday in Cincinnati. So the Brewers will utilize the off day. But you can understand why Renneke going into Chicago, a heavy hitting team in a hitter friendly ballpark, and then going to Cincinnati, the division leaders right now.
Yeah, you're going to need all of your arms, all hands on deck. You know, Bears is banged up a little bit, and more importantly, I think for Sean Markham, you don't want to have him feel like he has to be back in the starting rotation and really worry about really messing up that elbow. So you put him on the DL, you can put him retroactive on there, and it's not going to be missing that much time. But right now the Brewers are short in the bullpen and they're short on the bench. You just can't have that.
Well, the big question then surfaces, who do the Brewers call on? Their minor league system is pretty well tapped out at this point. Well, Gallardo off to a good start, and Renneke would love to see a long start from Gallardo today. He's a guy that loves the heat, by the way. He grew up in Texas, born in Mexico, grew up in Texas. He prefers the hot weather. That one's hit well to center field. Encarnacion drives another one deep, and that one is gone. Man, oh man, this team is relentless with the home run ball. And now they lead Major League Baseball, tied with the Yankees, with 101 home runs this season. That is their 10th homer of the series.
Yeah, these guys can hit 1 through 5 in this batting order. Very dangerous. That's a fastball right down the middle, a little bit outer half, and there's no chance that ball's going to stay in the ballpark. Not today. Baseball is going to fly. As you mentioned on our open today, the one chink in the armor for Gallardo lately, last 3 starts, has been the home run ball. 3 starts before this when he'd given up 5.
Encarnacion has homered in all 3 games of this series. That is his 20th home run of the season. And no tandem hits more homers than Encarnacion and Bautista in all of baseball this year. And the Brewers have felt the brunt of that in every game.
Well, it's going to be pretty much the same when the team goes to play the White Sox and the Reds. Relentless offense.
That one's hit well, right center. And Gomez able to cut it off. Johnson will hold at first base. Great play out there by Carlos Gomez. This is what it looks like now in the major leagues. The Yankees had led in this category for most of the season, but the Blue Jays with a flourish. 10 homers in this series now, tied with New York.
And you see the White Sox on that list too. The Brewers go there Friday. So it doesn't get any easier for Milwaukee pitching. One of the reasons why Drew Oaks was talking about, you might have to put Markham on the disabled list to bolster that bullpen.
Brewers are going to need arms. Brewers will use the designated hitter once again on Friday in that series with the White Sox. That does free you up a little bit. There's a bunt. Jeff Mathis advances Kelly Johnson. Sacrifice bunt.
Hey, on Saturday, July 14th, the Brewers take on the Pirates at 6:10 p.m. First 10,000 fans 21 and older will get a Brewers beer glass, compliments of Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
One gone with a runner at second for Omar Vizquel. Vizquel started on Monday at second base, back in there today as the shortstop. Hey, look at the Brewers pitching situation, and one of the guys that comes to mind is Tyler Thornburg, and you don't know where Ron Renicky is headed with that. Thornburg made a start yesterday, and it was a whirlwind for him, coming up from Double-A to the big leagues, straight from Double-A. Had not pitched since June 9th. And Thornburg giving up 5 runs in yesterday's game. Went 5 1/3. Had a lead going into the 6th. He said he walked off the mound. He was very disappointed, very upset, but then Brewers fans gave him a standing ovation just for making it here. Ricky Weeks takes care of Vizquel for out number 2. With more on Tyler Thornburg, we head back down to Drew.
Well, B.A., I imagine that his pulse rate and blood pressure are a little lower today than they were yesterday. Tyler Thornburg's not sure what's going to happen. He did say that this hit was a huge thrill. He's not going to lie. He said it was a huge thrill for him to get that base hit. It was the highlight of his night, he said. He handled himself very well. Now the question is, what's he going to do? It looks like the Brewers may keep him around through the weekend in Chicago in case there's a rain delay or an injury to another pitcher. And then maybe he'll stick around until Marco Estrada is ready to come back on Tuesday. But everything's up in the air right now. As you mentioned before, the pitching staff, we don't know what they're going to do about bringing up another reliever. They have enough starters to hold them with the days off. But Tyler Thornburg, his immediate future right now is just to watch some Major League Baseball.
Yeah, the problem is, though, Drew, is the fact that a lot of the guys that the Brewers had confidence in coming up from the minor leagues are already here. And where do you go? I mean, do you bring a guy up that you feel as though might not be ready just to bring him up just because he's an arm? You've got Mike McClendon down there. Tough decisions.
Rajay Davis bounces to short, and Ransom takes care of him. Inning over. Blue Jays get a run. How else would they do it? It was a home run. It's 1-0. playing first base. He is homered in this game to give the Blue Jays a 1-0 lead. Now this MLB on Fox season, Fox Sports is proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, and responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Good to see all the kids out here at the ballpark today. And a nice crowd on a Wednesday afternoon. The Brewers will enjoy a day off tomorrow before heading down to the south side of Chicago, starting a series on Friday. Plenty of sunshine today, abundant sunshine, as Aramis Ramirez takes a strike. Ramirez has had a big series, had a grand slam last night, has hit 2 homers, is 4 for 6. Ramirez with 6 RBIs in this series, really starting to heat up at the plate. His batting average is .263 starting play today. Has 9 home runs, 42 driven in. Yeah, Ramirez goes, says the first base umpire, Paul Nart. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Could have gone either way, and he got rung up.
Bouncing ball. Ari lets it go. Vizquel still got it at 45 years of age. 1 away here in the second, and Carreño has retired 4 in a row to start it. Powerball home run leaderboard. Corey Hart is on that list. Ryan Braun with 19 leads the club. Corey Hart with 14. He's moved himself into the top 5 in home runs in the National League.
Aramis Ramirez has gotten very hot. Good to see. It's about the time that Ramirez starts heating up, starting to put some home runs up and driving in runs. Ramirez is pretty much where you would figure he would be. He's in the 40s in RBIs right now.
Corey Hart into right field. That ball's well hit. And that ball is gone. Corey Hart with some traveling time. Number 15 of the season. And we're all tied at 1. The only question with that ball was it going to be high enough to go over the fence. Just barely. He hit it like a rope.
Well, Corey's last 2 home runs have come to right field. 1 against the Twins. And now this rope to right field. That's what you have to do against Carreño. You got to make him get his pitches up in the strike zone, and he becomes hittable. Number 15 of the year for Corey Hart, our Powerball home run count. A frozen rope out of here to right.
All tied at 1 on a couple of home runs. Very fitting for this series. That is the 3rd homer for the Brewers in this series. As Ricky Weeks takes a strike. Hardwood number 15 gives him 33 runs batted in. That home run for Hart, the first since he homered in Minnesota on Sunday. Final game of that series with the Twins. Brewers took 2 out of 3 from the Twins, trying to do the same here against the Blue Jays today. Ball and 2 strikes on Ricky Weeks. Now Weeks is even at a 2-2. Ricky with 5 home runs, 19 driven in. His batting average headed north, trying to get it off the interstate. Still at 184, but he's really swung the bat well over his last few games. Weeks is 3 for 8 on this homestand.
Well, just like the rest of them, the guys have been swinging the bat well. Ricky, a lot of his base hits have come up the middle. Hasn't been pulling off the ball as much.
Weeks is on a 4-game hitting streak. He is 8 for 18 during the run, and he's driven in 3. Down he goes. Breaking ball. And Weeks strikes out. Well, so what you have here is the Brewers get their 83rd home run. You've got the 2 top home run hitting teams in each league matching up in this series. With that Corey Hart homer, the Brewers now tied with the St. Louis Cardinals for home runs.
18 less home runs for the National League as opposed to the American League, but that goes without saying because of the designated hitter. 101 to 83.
More opportunities to hit home runs. And Encarnacion, typically the DH for Toronto, has been converted to a first baseman for this series in a National League ballpark. Cody Ransom back on the starting lineup today. It was Masonette at short yesterday. Ransom gets the call this afternoon.
Carreño, one of those guys, he just kind of slings the ball out there. He's got a good live arm. Good sink on it when he stays on top, as best he can anyway with that delivery that he has. He gets a pitch up in his zone. It flattens out pretty good. He's had 2 pretty good breaking pitches today. The slider, and then he'll put a little bit more tilt on one. Looks more like a curveball. Haven't seen any changeups yet.
Well, he's just turned 25 during spring training this year in March. And Ransom lays off. That's a pitch that has given the Brewers some fits. Ransom able to take it for ball 4. The inning continues with 2 outs. Being a bit of an adjustment period. I was down in the Brewers clubhouse before the game today and just trying to get a feel of how much scouting the Brewers were able to do on Carreño. He did make a big league start earlier this year against Cleveland. That was back in April. So there's enough video to get a sense of what he likes to do.
But as far as the Brewers' experience against this guy, the Brewers don't have anybody that was in the Eastern League the last couple of years. Nobody's seen him.
Yeah, the Brewers AA affiliate is in Huntsville in the Southern League. It's one thing to read a scouting report and to see video, but to actually stand in there and get a sense of what he has. And that's why second time through the batting order is always key when you get a guy that you haven't seen. Even yesterday it showed up with Jesse Chavez on the mound for Toronto. He was ripped right through the Brewers in the first 2 innings and then couldn't get out of the third.
He couldn't throw a strike. I mean, the Brewers really didn't knock him out of the game. He knocked himself out with the walks. That was the craziest inning that I've seen in a while. The guy just dealing, all of a sudden just flat lost it. Just couldn't find the strike zone.
Martin Maldonado with 2 outs and Ransom at first base. Inside. 1-1. Maldonado a .211 average, 4 homers, 13 driven in. He's given the Brewers a little unexpected offense this year, especially with the home run ball. That one's hit well to left field. That one's got a chance. And there it goes. Martin Maldonado with a 2-run home run. And the Brewers have the lead as Maldonado belts out his 5th.
Did you just call that shot? I'm going to give it to you. You talked about home runs. And 4 of his 5 home runs have given the Brewers a lead. That's the important part. So when he hits them, they're important ones. A hanging breaking ball from Carreño, and Maldonado waits back on it. Nice level swing, and with the way the baseball is jumping out of here today, into that Brewers bullpen. So a 3-1 lead for Milwaukee.
Here's Giovanni Gallardo. I'm sure Gallardo appreciates the run support, but there has to be a notion in a pitcher's mind like these balls are flying out of here at a record pace in a single series.
Yeah, well, there's not much you can do about it. Just got to put it out of your mind, pitch your game, and I would imagine it would affect the way a catcher would call a game as well.
I think more than anything else offensively, you have to keep the pressure on. Even though the Brewers yesterday scored 9 runs, as Gallardo hits one hard, that's into deep center field, and it is over the head of Rasmus. Gallardo racing to second with a double. We've chronicled in this series how shallow Rasmus plays, and Gallardo just drove one over his head.
Yeah, you can understand Rasmus playing shallow with a pitcher up, but he plays shallow with growing up and Aramis Ramirez, Corey Hart. This time Gallardo able to get a pretty good smacking one, and he gets himself a 2-out double. Rasmus goes back pretty well, but doesn't go back that well.
Gallardo safe at second, safe and secure at New York Life. So 3 runs are in. And a home run by Hart with 1 out. Maldonado hit a 2-run homer with 2 away, and now Gallardo follows with a double. Back to the top of the order in Carlos Gomez.
And a location of those 2 pitches. The first one to Maldonado, a hanging breaking ball, and then a fastball that was up. He doesn't get much sink on the fastball when it's up around mid-thigh, up around the belt. Those are the ones you have to take advantage of.
Inside again, 2-0 on Gomez. Carlos struck out in the first inning. Carreño has 3 Ks thus far. And it's 3-0 with Morgan on deck. Carreño running into a little 2-out trouble, and Gomez goes deep to left. He'll watch this one fly. 2-run home run for Carlos Gomez. Swinging away on a 3-0 pitch. And the Brewers giving the Blue Jays a little bit of their own medicine here today.
Yeah, a little tip of the hat to Ron Renneke, giving Gomez the green light. 3-0, fastball in on him. Gomez loves the ball in on him. I don't care how far in it is, he'll get a bat on it. The only question was he going to be able to keep it fair? And he did, barely. A rocket down the line and left. Way out of here.
5-1 Milwaukee. First home run for Gomez since May 31st when he homered at Dodger Stadium. And the Brewers climbing the scoreboard on the home run race in this series.
Brewers saying, I'm tired of hearing about the power the Blue Jays have. Watch this.
It is a race to the bat rack today. Third home run of the inning for the Brewers. Nigel Morgan with 2 outs. 4 of the 5 runs with 2 outs in this series, or in this inning. Brewers have done a lot of 2-out damage in this series. That one is in the air to right. It's going to stay in the ballpark. Bautista makes the catch, and the side is retired. What an inning for the Brew Crew. Starts with Corey Hart's 15th of the year. Martin Maldonado hits number 5, and then Gomez number 3, 5-1. For Milwaukee, 3 home runs. The first time the Brewers have hit 3 home runs in a single inning this year. And we head to the 3rd inning. Carsoup.com emailed the booth question. Do you think the Blue Jays can contend this season for a playoff spot in the American League? Barry and Hardland in the homeland wants to know.
Well, they got the offense. They better figure out what's going on with their starting rotation.
I would say it would be very tough losing 3 starters to be able to come back. And these 3 starters that John Farrell lost, all significant injuries at this point.
Right. These are irreplaceable type guys. You're not talking about 4 and 5 starters. You're talking about guys that anchor your starting rotation. And without pitching, there's really not much of a chance to get to the postseason. It's a very tough division.
Kyle Drabek, terrific young starter for the Blue Jays, the son of Doug Drabek. He is going to be out for the season. Blue Jays announced Monday that he is going to need Tommy John surgery, the ligament replacement surgery in his elbow. Bouncing ball, Ricky Weeks backhands it, jump throw in time. How about that play, robbing a hit from the pitcher, Carreño.
Now the big throwing arm from Ricky Weeks coming in handy on this play. Spinning around, jumping up, and still has enough on the throw. Very accurate by Weeks. Taking his time, knowing the pitcher's running down the line, and making a good throw over to Corey at first. Brewers defense has been solid. Made an error in last night's ball game, but they continue to climb the leaderboard in team defense in the National League.
You know, I think a lot of the credit belongs to Corey Hart at first base. He's done a great job defensively for the Brewers, and psychologically he is a massive target over there. Ricky Weeks was talking about, you know, Hart. He's easy to pick up on a play like that. You turn and you see Corey Hart at 6'6". Gives you a little bit of a comfort zone. Laurie, a chopper, got to hurry. Ramirez in time to get Brett Laurie. 2 outs in the inning. Yeah, the Brewers playing very well defensively lately, and we've seen it from some guys that we didn't expect to see in the big leagues for Milwaukee this year. Guys like Ransom and Edwin Masonette.
After a slow start defensively in April, the Brewers currently 7th in the National League in fielding percentage. They're tied for first in double plays with 66. And when you have good defense, you have good pitching, you should win ball games. And certainly without that good defense, the Brewers certainly would not be in the position that they're in. 6 games under 500, could be a lot worse.
Now the Brewers start play today. 7.5 back of the Cincinnati Reds, 31 and 37. And it's getting crunch time for Milwaukee. We had Doug Melvin on the air yesterday, and you know, he said the decision whether the Brewers are going to be buyers or sellers, whether they're going to try to acquire pieces to make a postseason push, or whether they are going to try to trade pieces away and try to bolster a minor league system or fill a void for the coming years. That decision comes down at the end of July, and Doug Melvin saying it'll be a feel for him. He's just going to have to feel the ball club and get a sense of if they're on the rise or not. I think these next few weeks here, Rock, leading up to the All-Star break, are huge to determine where the Brewers are headed post All-Star break.
And next couple of weeks, you're right. Next 3 weeks actually, and you know that there are quote unquote pieces that would be very attractive to teams that are in a pennant race. But with the extra wild card in each league, you know that a lot of teams are going to feel as though they're going to be in it to the end. So the trading deadline deals are going to be interesting to see how many there actually are going to be.
Doug made a good point and reminded us that in 2008, when the Brewers acquired CC Sabathia, they were 4 back. As Gallardo strikes out Colby Rasmus to end the inning. 1-2-3 inning, a shutdown inning after a 5-run bottom of the second. Big boys are coming up when we continue. presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine. 5-1, bottom of the third. The Brewers score all 5 runs in the bottom of the second inning on 3 home runs. On a hot day, breezy day in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Another day in the 90s here in Milwaukee. Unusual for this part of the country. Ryan Braun ready to lead off. Joel Carreño back on the mound to start his third inning of work, and Braun fouls it away. I was talking to Ryan Braun before the game. He was kind enough to join us for a one-on-one interview on Brewers Live. He has slipped into the 4th spot among the National League outfielders. Melky Cabrera passed Ryan Braun, so we're encouraging you, Brewers fans out there, to vote for Ryan Braun, and he appreciates that.
He certainly deserves to be a starter for the All-Star team. When you look at his numbers, you know, up against everybody else, you got Kemp, you got Beltran, you got Ryan Braun. Those are the 3 top.
Well, Braun made a good point. He was talking about the team and how he feels the team is going right now as he rips one down the left field line. Braun on the run. He'll go for extras as Rajay Davis cuts it off, but not before Braun rolls into second with a double, and a 15-game hitting streak for Ryan Braun.
Carreño really elevating the baseball for the Brewers. The first couple of innings, or the first inning, he was down in the strike zone, a 3-up, 3-down inning. A couple of punch outs, but that breaking pitch hanging up there for Ryan Braun, and he doubles down the line. Not going to get away with too many pitches in that location.
Extends his overall hitting streak, and it also extends his interleague hitting streak to 25 games, tying Derek Jeter for the 3rd longest in the history of interleague play in the big leagues. Matt Lawton is the record setter for consecutive hits in an interleague game. Matt Lawton hit in 37 consecutive games. Started in '99, ended in 2001. For what it's worth. But Braun was talking about all the close games the Brewers have lost lately, and feels like they're just not finishing because they're in games. They're playing at a pennant contending caliber, but they're just not finishing like they need to stay in the race, and he hopes that changes. And I think he said exactly what Doug Melvin said yesterday, that this team is poised to go on a winning streak. They're going to need one to figure out where they stand, and with the kind of pitching that they have, at least the starting pitching, they certainly have the ability to do that.
They get back to 500 with a nice winning streak of 6 games. I mean, that's not out of the realm of possibility, a 6-game streak. Doug also made the comment that the Brewers really haven't been mired in a long losing streak either. I think 4 is the longest losing streak that they've had, so the inconsistency has been, really hasn't hurt them too much as far as the long losing streaks.
I think the bullpen right now is the big concern, and yes, the Brewers have dealt with injuries, and injuries to what is essentially the bottom of the batting order that the Brewers were counting on some offense, some production from, and they've replaced that. The fill-ins have done a nice job. As Ramirez pops this one up to shallow right center, and Encarnacion will make the catch for the out.
Hey, fans, join Crew HD for $20 and get a ticket to select Brewers games, admission to the Harley-Davidson Museum, plus an HD Museum glass mug. Visit Brewers.com/HD Museum.
Here's Corey Hart. He opened up the scoring in the second inning with a home run to right. His 15th of the year. Ryan Braun at second base. 5-1 Milwaukee here in the bottom of the third. Gallardo coming off A 3 down inning after his team got him 5 runs in the bottom of the second. Gallardo disposes of the Blue Jays quickly in the third. Those shutdown innings are so important on a day like this. I would imagine confidence is supremely high for the hitters in a ballpark like this on a day like this when the ball's traveling.
You still have to make contact. It doesn't matter how the ball's traveling, how deep the fences are. You still have to square up, and the pitcher has a lot to do with that. Carreño leaving a number of pitches up, making it much easier.
And Carreño falling behind 3-0. Quick trip to the mound by Jeff Mathis. He's trying to encourage his young right-hander to push through. It's going to be Carreño's game for a while. No, the scheduled starter today was supposed to be Carlos Villanueva, but because it was a short start yesterday by Jesse Chavez, the Blue Jays had to go with Villanueva yesterday. He pitched well, actually. Toronto was able to win that game as Corey Hart draws a walk. First and second with 1 out.
And 5 relievers used by the Toronto Blue Jays. They've had to get in deep into their bullpen in the first 2 games. 4 on Monday. I would imagine that's the discussion that's taking place out there in Nevada. All right, relax. We're going to have you in here for a while, although there is activity out in that bullpen. Toronto Blue Jays came well prepared in their bullpen for this series. 9 guys in the pen. 9 relievers out there.
And already bullpen activity, Drew Olson. And what is the plan for the Blue Jays for this game?
He's trying to survive right now. And we talked to John Farrell before the game, and he was saying that he joked recently about doing an exorcism on the mound at the Rogers Center, like changing the dirt. I don't know what that ceremony entails, but I've never covered one in my career, and I'd volunteer to go up there and see it.
Yeah, that'd be something worth seeing, right? An excellent Twitter opportunity. Now, you do feel bad for the Blue Jays. I mean, any organization who endures what they have endured, it's going to be tough for them to stay in it. They had a lot of hopes this year. I mean, this is a team that came into this series over 500. They're 35-33. They're hanging around 6.5 back of the Yankees in the American League East. As Weeks skies one in the grass behind second base. Kelly Johnson's got it for the second out. Well, they had designs on contending this year.
Every team's dealing with it, though. I mean, hard pressed to find a team in the big leagues that's not dealing with some type of a major injury. You see the starting rotation, or 3/5 of it, on the DL. And these are big contributors as well, as you're talking about. One of them's out for the year, probably. Drebeck, he's probably going to have surgery. A couple of elbows and the famous oblique that's popped up in the last 5 years.
Yeah, Brandon Morrow, if you've never seen him pitch, he is a budding ace for the Blue Jays. And out with an oblique injury that is very bad. John Farrell said it's going to be a while for him to come back. Looking at a month to 6 weeks. The Blue Jays have a tough second half schedule as well. Number of matchups with the Red Sox and the Yankees. Cody Ransom walked and scored in the second. He was aboard when Maldonado homered. 3 home runs in an inning for the Brewers in the second. Two on, 2 out for Ransom.
Well, it's been a while since Carreño has left the breaking ball down on his own. Ricky Weeks had a very good pitch to hit. He popped it up on a breaking pitch down the middle. That last one was about belt high.
Runners go. Swing and a miss. Throw goes to second, and Hart is in there. Braun got such a great jump. That was the right play for Jeff Mathis, but Corey Hart, good base running. He saw Braun take off and followed suit. Double steal for Milwaukee.
Yeah, most of the time that back guy, the guy going to second, is going to get a late jump. He has to make sure the guy stealing third base is going to go, so that's where the throw goes, but it's late.
Just the second steal for Hart. Braun has 12 this year. And a base hit. The Brewers can add to it. 5-1 Brewers. Cody Ransom in a 1-2 count takes a ball. Able to check his swing. Already at 60 as we play in the third inning. Now the Brewers have scored 5 runs already, but these are the kind of opportunities you have to take advantage of with the heavy hitting Blue Jays. You take as many as you can. They've been able to come back twice, the Blue Jays. In Monday's game, the Brewers had a 6-1 lead. Toronto came all the way back to tie it. Milwaukee won at 7-6.
And had a 3-run lead yesterday.
Well, the game was lost in the 9th, but really the 7th inning was a key inning for Toronto getting back into it. They scored twice immediately and made it a 1-run game. And then Rasmus and Bautista went back-to-back in the 9th inning off Haxford to win it. 2-2 to Cody Ransom. Count stays at 2-2. The Brewers have set their rotation for the series against the White Sox. Zach Greinke will start on Friday night against Chris Sale. Boy, what a matchup that is. Greinke at 7-2, Chris Sale at 8-2 on the year, each with low earned run averages.
Yeah, first year that Sale's been in the starting rotation. He's picked up the slack when Mark Burley took off via free agency.
White Sox had Jake Peavy on the mound last night. He actually went the distance for the second time in a loss. They lost to the Cubs yesterday,
2-1.
Randy Wolf matches up against Philip Umber, who threw a perfect game earlier this season. That'll be the Fox game, the national game. And then Sunday's matchup is Mike Fiers and Jose Quintana. Skips by. Got to play at the plate. Braun slides, and he's out at home. Bad break for the Brewers. That hit something just under the padded wall back there and came right back to Jeff Mathis. And an easy out at home plate. Not much you can do about that. Just bad luck. Inning ends. Brewers failed to score in the third. Here, there is not a left fielder on the field yet for the Brewers,
which is a good sign.
Yes, here comes Braun. There was some discussion that Aoki might enter this game, but Braun will continue. We didn't see him. He went down into the clubhouse trying to score on a ball that bounced firmly back to the catcher Mathis.
Stepped on his hand.
Yeah.
Catcher got him in the hand with his foot. Inadvertent, but there it is right there. Kind of cleated him right on the back of the hand.
Yep. So, well, we'll keep an eye on him. That is his throwing hand. And Drew, what was the discussion between innings?
Well, Nori Aoki was scrambling to get his glove and looked like he was going to go in, and Braun went up the tunnel. Braun tore his pants, and he has a cut on his thumb. He had a piece of gauze on it that kind of fell off as he jogged onto the field. So we'll keep an eye on that.
All right, we'll see how he throws the baseball.
It feels as good right now as it will all day. He's going to start stiffening it up, maybe get some swelling. Hopefully he's going to be able to stay in there. The way these Blue Jays can swing the bat, you'd like to see some more offense for the Brewers.
Jose Bautista leads off. Gallardo struck him out in the first inning. Giovanni coming off a 3-up 3-down inning. He's retired 6 straight. Bautista with that big swing. Fair ball. Ramirez makes the play for the out. And that'll bring up Edwin Encarnacion. He has continued his home run binge this year. Encarnacion with 3 homers in the series. He hit one off the slide in left field against Randy Wolf on Monday. And then last night, this one, look where it ended up, in the Harley Davidson deck. And then he homered against Gallardo in the second inning.
Pretty much the same setup as Bautista, but a little bit further away from home plate for Encarnacion. Some very similar styles. Both of them like to pull the baseball, and both of them with tremendous power.
You look at Encarnacion's career against Gallardo, and remember Encarnacion played for the Cincinnati Reds. He had 9 career at-bats, 3 for 9, all 3 hits, home runs against Gallardo. That includes the home run he hit in the second inning. A familiar foe for Gallardo. 2 balls and a strike. That one's in the air to center field. Playable. Gomez on the warning track makes a catch. Wow, can you believe that ball went to the track?
Just kept going.
Goodness. 2 outs in the inning. Home runs in this series. The story. Bautista with 3. Encarnacion with 3. Red Laurie hit 2. 1 in each of the first 2 games. Colby Rasmus hit 2 yesterday. Ramirez with 2. You get the idea.
No real surprise, though, is it? Good hitters park. A lot of power coming in here. The Brewers hit a fair amount themselves.
Here's Kelly Johnson with 2 away. He singled his last time up. The Blue Jays have just 2 hits. They came back-to-back in the second. Encarnacion's homer, and then Johnson had a single right after. Big swing and a miss. Slider from Gallardo.
And took a little bit off, had him out in front. He's got good stuff today. He's made that one mistake to Encarnacion, but other than that, he's been very good. Keep the ball down. Got some nice life to his fastball today. Rick Kranitz likes to say it's coming out of his hand well. Same thing.
I always wonder what that means.
Little pop out of the hand, little life.
That's why we have to take Rock down to the clubhouse to decipher the language. There's a swing and a miss. That one came out of his hand well. And the inning is over. 3 up, 3 down for Gallardo. Gives him 9 in a row.
The fourth here at Miller Park, we check out the Green Week edition of Crew in the Community. The Brewers will host their second ever e-cycling event here at Miller Park tomorrow. Residents can drop off up to 5 unwanted household electronics items for recycling at no charge. Also, the first 500 participants receive a voucher for 2 Brewers tickets. Last year, the event gathered more than 40,000 pounds of electronics. And guys, this makes it official. After the game today, I'm going home and I'm taking my VCR and my 8-track player off of Craigslist and I'm bringing them here.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. It's a memory. Marks you to your past.
I've been looking for an 8-track player. I still got some Boston on 8-track.
Some old Aerosmith.
I have no way to play it.
Aaron Laffey is the new pitcher. And out is Joel Carreño. Just 3 innings today for the Blue Jays starter. He goes 3 innings with 5 hits and 5 runs allowed.
And pitched on Monday here at Miller Park. His 3rd stint with Toronto. He came up most recently on June 13th.
John Farrell said on Monday when we were looking ahead to Wednesday's game today, he said, I might have to go Tony La Russa from the 8-track days. When you go 3-3-3 with pitchers, and he's held true with Carreño. He had the first 3, and we'll see if Laffey picks up the middle 3. La Russa, I guess, used to do that quite often back in the 80s when he was.
We haven't had many
manager.
Tony La Russa mentions this year.
But he's watching. Tony La Russa working for Major League Baseball.
Getting ready for the All-Star game.
Yep. He has asked Ron Renicky to be a part of his coaching staff. Renicky accepted. Cody Ransom to start it here for the Brewers. He'll be followed by Maldonado and then Gallardo. Gallardo has just given up the 1 run, the homer by Encarnacion, only 2 hits, and has retired 9 straight. Ransom over to second. Kelly Johnson for the first out. And that'll bring up Martin Maldonado, who again gives the Brewers some life offensively with the home run ball. His 5th homer of the season. Since his Major League debut on May 29th, Martin Maldonado is tied for the lead among MLB catchers in both home runs and runs batted in. That was entering play today. And pending what happens later today, Maldonado could be tops on that list. Since the day he arrived to the big leagues in Los Angeles. Maldonado now 5 homers, 15 runs batted in.
And Martin catching a day game after a night game in this type of heat. Not an easy thing to do, but he's a young kid.
Maldonado from Puerto Rico. Has no problems with the heat, especially at 25 years of age.
Especially in the big leagues.
Yeah, right. A lot cooler in the big leagues than it is in the minors.
A little bit tougher. You don't want to be catching day games after a night game in the minors, but in the big leagues, you can deal with it.
One and two the count on Maldonado. Aaron Laffey just into the game for the Blue Jays. His first inning of work. This is Maldonado's 16th start this year. He did come up for 3 games last season. He got just 1 at bat last year. So it's been a season of firsts for Maldonado. First hit, first homer. Made his first start. Matter of fact, the night he started for the Brewers on the 29th of May, Mike Fiers also started on the mound. It was his first major league start. So he had a battery that made their first big league starts together that night, and they were very good together. Fiers pitched a great ball game in 7 innings and beat the Dodgers, part of a sweep of Los Angeles.
And did a nice job with Tyler Thornburg last night. I think Tyler just kind of somewhat ran out of gas. A lot of emotion going into that start. Spending a lot of energy, and
that'll end up in the glove of Encarnacion. Good play over there by Encarnacion in the shadows. Well, Martin Maldonado had a 3-run homer off Edson Volquez of the Padres. That gave the Brewers the lead. That would continue a theme. He did it again 2 days later. Had a 3-run 6th inning home run against the Padres. That gave the Brewers the lead late. And then what proved to be a game winner against the Twins. 9th inning homer off Matt Capps on Friday.
well, the one today gave the Brewers a lead.
In a 1-1 tie, Maldonado with a 2-run home run. Gallardo swinging a foul tip. 0-2 the count on Giovanni. He doubled in that 2nd inning following the Maldonado home run. Brewers went deep 3 times in that 5-run 2nd. First time all year they've hit 3 home runs in an inning. Two and two to Gallardo. And that one's in the air. Shallow right. Bautista will make the catch for the out. 3 up and 3 down for Aaron Laffey as we head to the 5th inning from Miller Park.
See keys to the game after the Brewers fell behind 1-0. It was a 3-home run second started out by Corey Hart. Then after a walk to Cody Ransom, Maldonado with a big fly that came into left field, and then Carlos Gomez on a 3-0 pitch after Yvonne Gallardo able to extend the inning with a double, hit a 2-run shot. Ball is flying out of Miller Park. A 3-home run second inning from Milwaukee. And today's time of the game winner is the Center House in Ripon, Wisconsin, if they call the Brewers. In the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
So 4 in the books here at Miller Park. Final game of this quick 3-game homestand. Brewers are headed out on a 6-game road trip coming up to take on the White Sox, which will wrap up interleague play for the season, and then the Cincinnati Reds. First trip to Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Gallardo back on the hill, ready to go. He has retired 9 straight. Gallardo has 4 strikeouts. He's given up just 2 hits. One of those a home run by Encarnacion. Facing Jeff Mathis, and that one's back up the middle. Weeks, gloves, jump throw is not in time. Terrific play by Weeks, but Mathis able to beat it out. Infield hit to start the inning for the Blue Jays.
A good pitch by Gallardo. You see Mathis reaching for it, but able to get it up the middle. Ricky with a nice play to make it close. Not a bad pitch either. Down and away, but a good piece of hitting by Mathis. And a leadoff base runner for the Blue Jays.
Omar Vizquel takes a strike. Vizquel rolled out to Weeks at second base in the second inning. He's 0 for 1. That one's in the air to center, and Gomez Gomez makes the catch as if he's stalking prey.
Had him played perfectly.
It's like a lion out there.
Guy loves to play baseball.
Yeah, he's fun.
He is a lot of fun to watch, a lot of energy.
What a great personality he is, Gomez. He's just one of those guys. Shows up at the ballpark. He's always in a great mood. I mean, he's just bouncing off the walls.
Oh, to be young again.
Yeah. Rajay Davis with one away. He bunts it foul. Rock, I don't know if you saw the minor league report that Ken Spindler produces so well. But last night, the Helena Brewers beat the Great Falls Voyagers 10-8, and Ron Renicke's son Lance hit 5th last night's game. He went 4 for 4.
Wow.
He drove in 2 runs. He walked. He stole a base. It's their second game, and Helena picked up the win. It was a wild one there. So proud papa there, Ron Renicke, with son Lance.
4 for 4.
Yeah,
Nice
big
day.
day. Yeah, good for him. A lot of all-star games last night. The Southern League had their all-star game. Matter of fact, Tyler Thornburg was supposed to pitch in last night's Southern League all-star game, but he chose a better option. He pitched in the big leagues. Thornburg still the organizational leader in victories with 8. Davis on the ground through the hole, a base hit. And the Blue Jays putting up a threat here in the 5th with 2 on. 1 man out. And the pitcher spot coming up.
Yeah, Thornburg got good news. Quite a bit of good news in a short period of time. He was first told that he was going to play in the Southern League All-Star team. Then he was told he was going to AAA. And then he was told he was going to the big leagues.
That's right. In that order, and all about 24 hours time.
That's a nice stretch.
Brewers minor league team in Appleton, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. They won the first half of the Midwest League in their division. Laffey trying to bunt to advance the runners.
Laffey some experience at the plate. He made 11 starts for AAA Las Vegas.
Now Laffey, because John Farrell needs innings out of his relievers, he's going to be forced to hit here. This might be in a different scenario if your starter was able to go the first 4 innings. You might pinch him for him in a spot like this. Laffey does get the bunt down. It's a good one. Gallardo goes to third for the out. Boy, what a play by Gallardo. It's risky with a 5-1 lead, but Gallardo spins and fires and gets the lead out at third base.
Yeah,
well done.
That was the play. They had Ramirez crashing toward home plate. Then you had Ransom covering the bag at third. That's the wheel play. Gallardo knows it right away and hits Ransom right in the chest with a good throw to third. And then Ricky goes to first. Ransom goes to third. The corners crash and they get the out.
Putout goes 1-6. And here's Brett Laurie with 2 on and 2 out now. Laurie is hitless against Gallardo. He's 0 for 2. 2 groundouts. 4 for 12 in the series with a couple of homers. John Farrell inserted Laurie in the leadoff spot 3 weeks ago, and he has flourished in that role. Not only Laurie hitting leadoff, but Colby Rasmus hitting in the 2-hole in front of Bautista. Part of the frustration for John Farrell and the Blue Jays, their offense is going along pretty well right now. Hitting a lot of homers, scoring runs. Their pitching staff in trouble as Davis takes off and Laurie fouls it away. Davis had that base stolen.
Yeah, they rely heavily on the home run, as you would imagine. The Toronto Blue Jays in the bottom third in batting average, but they hit home runs. That's what they do. That's very similar to what the Brewers do offensively.
1-2 the count. Laurie has the kind of power to turn it into a 1-run game quickly. And a ground ball to second. Gallardo has had his way with Brett Laurie today. 0 for 3, 3 weak groundouts. Still 5-1 Brewers. 5-1, the Brewers lead the Toronto Blue Jays. Interleague baseball here at Miller Park this afternoon. 5 runs on 5 hits. All of the runs came in the second inning. All produced by the home run ball. There were 3 homers in that inning. Corey Hart, Martin Maldonado, and Carlos Gomez. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, Drew Olson, Chris Withers, and Kevin Shank. Producer and director this afternoon. Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Great to have you with us today. And we go to the bottom of the 5th, top of the order for Milwaukee, as Carlos Gomez will lead off. A 2-run home run in the second. Laffey in his second inning now. And this is about the time of day when the shadows start to come into play. Laffey still standing in the bright sunshine, giving our video technicians fits in there as they try to iris the cameras from the sunlight to shadow.
And no surprise, day games, this is what goes on at Miller Park. You would think at some point this would be an advantage to the Brewers. Used to it, and teams coming in here that never seen this before, you would figure would have the problem with it.
I always felt like this is the one time of day when it's probably toughest to hit, because as Laffey lets that pitch go, it's in bright sunshine, immediately goes into the shadow, and you have to do some quick adjusting with your eyes.
Well, it's always tough, but when everything is in the shadows and in your batter's eye, what you see behind the pitcher is in bright sunshine. That plays tricks on the eyes. It's tough to focus.
Three balls and a strike on Carlos Gomez, and a swing and a miss. Violent hack by Gomez. And you see how he releases.
Nice delivery, bounces on that back leg, high leg kick, and watch him fire off that pitching rubber. Uses his legs, taking the pressure off the arm.
See that hand disappear in the shadow as Gomez draws the walk. So a good start to the 5th. Leadoff hitter is aboard, and a base stealer at that. Our AT&T trivia question: which starting pitcher ended Paul Molitor's 39-game hit streak on August 26, 1987? It may seem like a random question, but there is a nice, pretty red Bill Schroeder bow at the end of it.
Bill Schroeder bow?
Because you lived it, and you know the answer.
If I was there, I know who it is, and that was one of the craziest days. That was against the Cleveland Indians at County Stadium. And I know we've talked about this all the time in 1987. And Rick Manning came up, won a game with a base hit, got booed because Paul Molitor was on deck and he was hitless.
First time the home crowd has booed the hometown player who won a game in walk-off fashion.
And the crazy thing, everybody around town was thinking, why would Rick Manning even think about getting a hit there? Are you kidding me? And who was the first guy to congratulate him? Paul Molitor.
Well, there was a starting pitcher on the mound for the Indians that day who had a big part in ending Paul Molitor's streak. The igniter. We didn't see Paul in Minneapolis. Typically we catch up with him.
I heard he was on assignment.
Yeah.
You know, they sent him to the minor leagues and go down there, teach the kids. You would think they'd give him the weekend off with the Brewers in town.
I mean, you would think that'd be kind of automatic.
Kind of insensitive of him.
Yep.
Looking forward to seeing Paul. Trying to lock him down to fantasy camp.
Two 2-0 to Nigel Morgan. Gomez goes. Throw to second is late. Nice stop over there by Vizquel. And a stolen base for Carlos Gomez. That is number 8 for the season.
And not a very good throw by Mathis. I mean, he is a specialist behind home plate. Mathis about as good as it gets. Arm drops, and that ball just sailed on him. A nice play by Vizquel to keep it in the infield. The former Anaheim Angel.
Gomez, that's a good sign that he's starting to feel better. He was on the DL with a hamstring injury. And he's starting to run a little bit more now. And Morgan goes down the right field line. That is going to stay fair. And here comes Gomez. He will score. RBI for Nigel Morgan. That had some very unusual spin to it. Morgan able to keep it fair somehow. And he drives in his 3rd run of the season.
And right off the end of the bat, and a very interesting throw by Bautista out there. He didn't stop and set himself and make a strong throw. He kind of ran, picked it up, and off balance threw it into home plate. Nigel didn't think that was going to be fair. It had some crazy spin on it. Kind of a slice job down the line. And watch Bautista. Kind of a crazy throw into home plate. Don't think they would have had a play anyway.
Gomez scores the run, so the stolen base pays off, and the Brewers tack one on here for Gallardo. It is now 6-1. Now good for Nigel Morgan. He was stuck on 2 RBIs. That's his first RBI without a homer this year. Braun shoots one to right.
Nothing wrong with his hand, at least.
Yep. Braun was stepped on trying to score a few innings ago. He stayed in the game, and that's a good sign that he's able to swing the bat. 2 hits today for Braun.
An amazing hitter, Ryan Braun. We talk about it all the time, but you don't get a sense for how difficult what he does is on a daily basis. Not many hitters can do it. Go to the opposite field and hit it that hard on the line in that direction as a right-handed batter.
And it's so interesting that nobody fights the shadows here more than Ryan Braun. I mean, he really struggles with it as far as, psychologically. He talks about it a lot. He's always talking to Garth Orge about the fact that he can't see, but he's always standing next to Garth Orge because he gets 2 hits a day. Brett Laurie makes the catch, and Ramirez is retired. Infield fly rule was in effect there. And Ramirez is out. He's 0 for 3 today.
I think it's just his way of trying to get a competitive edge on the opponent.
I think you're right.
He's a smart guy,
I mean, he'll get his hits in a day game. He'll stand next to the first baseman and tell him how hard it is to see here, and kind of psychs out the other guy. They say, well, if he can't see and he's getting hits,
he'll be over there saying, I just can't see fastballs here. And he'll get a fastball late in the game and knock it out of the ballpark.
He'll hit it into the seats, right? Yeah, he's got a little bit of that in him too. Still trying to get some feeling back in that right hand. He was spiked by the catcher Jeff Mathis on a play at the plate. If you're just joining us, this was the play. The ball actually carried him right back off the base of the wall. It was a bad break for the Brewers, but then Mathis put the spike on his right hand as he tagged him out. Normally on a play like that, Braun scores easily if it hits the padding back there. But it bounced back firmly, and Braun was an easy out.
Did the circle help you at all? I mean, looking at that play, the telestrated the circle, or didn't you see it?
I didn't see your artwork. I'm not sure we've made you game ready with the telestrator yet. That's just for practice, for your own practice. I'm not sure that made air.
You're a funny man today, aren't you?
Here, draw a line there. Let's see. Little flare that is caught, and for some reason, Nigel Morgan takes off, and that's going to be a double play to end the inning. Morgan thought there were 2 outs. Inning ends 6-1 Brewers. There's always a celebrity in the crowd. I'm not sure why that's picture worthy, but she or he is looking great today, hanging out in the sun. Well, the Brewers' Corey Hart gaining his footing at first base. Visit FoxSportsWisconsin.com to read what Brewers manager Ron Renneke has to say about Hart's defense this season. Sporting a nice beard today, Rock, down in the front row.
I wonder what possesses a guy to do that. I assume it's a guy.
I don't know, but he's pretty popular down there right now.
I hope it's a guy.
Taking pictures and oh man. Oh boy.
Nice day for a wig.
Yeah. So anyway, Colby Rasmus leads off here in the 6th inning. That one's driven down the left field line, slicing. That'll head into the seats. Our AT&T trivia question: which starting pitcher ended Paul Molitor's 39-game hit streak on August 26, '87? And that would be John Farrell. Went all 9 that day. A shutout for John Farrell, one of his great days on the mound of his career.
It was a no decision for Farrell. Bullpen took over in the 10th, I believe it was, and Rick Manning, that's when he got his base hit. That was his rookie year, John Farrell. Paul Molitor did that whole hitting streak as the DH.
Did you play in that game?
Don't remember. It means I must not have.
You don't remember just random days out in the bullpen hanging out with the boys?
Games I don't remember, or games I didn't play, or games that I did particularly poorly. So the answer, I think, is no.
Wasn't Omar Vizquel the shortstop that day? No, just kidding. Just kidding, Omar. 1987, if I'm not mistaken, Brewers Fantasy Camp will have a tribute to the 1987 team.
You know, the Blue Jays color analyst, I think, was in that game with Cleveland.
Pat Tabler. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now Gallardo walks Colby Rasmus. Well, the batting orders from that day, the day that Paul Molitor's streak ended with a Brewers 1-0 win. Let's look at some of these names here.
Joe Carter.
No, Bill Schroeder.
It was B.J. Surhoff's day to shine.
Brett Butler, Julio Franco playing shortstop. Julio Franco. Oh, those are good names.
Teddy Garrett, Dale Flame, yeah.
Gallardo has lost it a little bit here in the 6th inning. There's Pat Tabler. He hit third that day. Fine television analyst for the Blue Jays. Big swing by Bautista. Tabler was telling me he lived in Milwaukee for a brief time as a youth. Didn't see Buck Martinez here this week. Buck is on a midseason vacation. There's a snap throw to first, and just back is Rasmus. Maldonado loves to show off that arm, just like Buck Martinez used to.
Well, when you have a good arm, you're going to show it off. There's a nice snap throw, almost getting Rasmus.
1-2 to Bautista, and a swing and a miss. Gallardo strikes him out. Bautista arguing that he fouled it.
And second time that Gallardo's got him on a curveball in the dirt. A nice block that time by Martin Maldonado. So saving his best curveballs for their best hitter. No shortening of the stroke for Bautista. That guy is airing it out every time he swings the bat.
Gallardo's punched him out twice, gives him 5 for the game. And now Encarnacion, 6-1 Brewers. Nyjer Morgan had an RBI single last inning. A 5-run second inning for Milwaukee. Two and 0 on Encarnacion. Responsible for the only Blue Jays run today. He homered in the second. He roasted one to center field, hit off the black batter's eye. Giovanni Gallardo pitching against the Toronto Blue Jays for the first time in his career. When the Blue Jays came through here in 08, as Encarnacion collects another hit. And he's having quite a series. His second hit of the day. And runners at first and second with 1 out.
And Fair Friday packages are just $13 and includes 1 ticket to Friday Brewers games and admission to the 2012 Wisconsin State Fair presented by U.S. Cellular. Visit brewers.com/state fair.
Well, it's going to be Kelly Johnson now. The Blue Jays came to Milwaukee in 08 for interleague play. Gallardo at the time was on the disabled list. That was the year he tore his ACL and the year he was able to come back and pitch in the postseason.
Gallardo might have ever faced the Blue Jays, but he's faced a number of hitters in this lineup.
And
7 of them.
Kelly Johnson is one of them from his days with the Diamondbacks. Johnson 1 for 2 today. He is 2 for 11 career. One of those hits a home run. Brewers are looking for a ground ball to turn it. Gallardo's given up just 1 run on 5 hits as he pitches in the 6th. Swing and a miss, 1 and 2. Colby Rasmus walked to start the inning. Encarnacion a single. Johnson's got some power. Has 9 homers this year. 30 runs batted in. And he takes low, 3 and 2. Now here's a big pitch coming up for Gallardo. His pitch count right now is at 87. On a hot afternoon at Miller Park.
With a bullpen that is not in very good shape. There's not a lot of guys available. Guys have been pitching a lot. They hope to get at least this and another inning out of Yo.
Bouncing ball. Corey Hart goes to second for the out, and no return throw from Cody Ransom. So Johnson is retired. It'll be first and third for the Blue Jays with 2 outs now. Johnson reaches on a fielder's choice.
Corey Hart does a nice job making sure he clears the runner Encarnacion before he throws the baseball, making sure that he doesn't hit him in the back with it. And Corey Hart continues to look more comfortable over there each and every day.
Put that throw right on the money, didn't he?
Well, he knew he wasn't going to be able to turn 2, so you want to make sure of 1.
Now Jeff Mathis, the Blue Jay catcher. Mathis had a hit, an infield hit against Gallardo in the 5th inning. A swing and a miss, 1-1. Mathis is a guy that Ron Renicky knows well. They were together for a number of years with the Angels. Mathis filling in that backup catcher's role with the Angels. Take strike 2. 1-2 the count. Never been thought of as a hitter. As a matter of fact, it's amazing he stayed around as long as he has. He has a career 194 batting average, Jeff Mathis.
That's because he does a nice job behind home plate. You can make a lot of money in this game and stick around a long time if you can catch and throw. A reputation as a good signal caller and make a good living.
2 balls, 2 strikes, runners at the corners. And Mathis takes a call, strike 3, a fastball. Surprised him with that heater, and Gallardo gets through the 6th. 2 left on for the Blue Jays. Gallardo through 6 innings, just 1 run allowed. Today is presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic. Don't just live, shine.
Hey fans, come out to Miller Park as the Brewers host the Miami Marlins July 2nd through the 5th. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or go to brewers.com.
That'll be our first look at the Miami Marlins. Giancarlo Stanton, their big slugger. Ricky Weeks ready to lead off as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. A good crowd today on a Wednesday afternoon. Good to see everybody at the ballpark today. Tremendous support, even with a team that is 6 games under 500. Players talk about it all the time. It resonates with them. You can believe it. Ryan Braun made a mention about it on our Brewers Live pregame today about the fans and the support of the fans, and what a great place to play. Fun time at Miller Park, a lot to do.
Yeah, one of the reasons that the Brewers have had some success in attracting some free agents is the fan support and how the fans get into it here at Miller Park. No, Ramos Ramirez, one of the reasons that he came to Milwaukee, because of the energy in this ballpark.
Bouncing ball toward third. This is Laurie, and he's got Weeks for the first out.
Now, living in Milwaukee can be a challenge in the wintertime. Not so much last winter, but you know, it gets cold and can be tough with all the all the snow, but no better place, I think, in the summertime. Baseball, the festivals, State Fair, Summerfest. It's a great place.
Yeah, Summerfest right around the corner here, and I'll be getting underway. The Brewers partnering up with Summerfest on a number of different projects. That's always a great time in the summer where you get to see a ball game, go to the largest outdoor music festival in the world, Summerfest, and we want to send our best out to John Bowler and the gang as they get ready for Summerfest. We wish them the best of luck this year. They'll be taking a day off this year in between, just like last season. That worked out pretty well. Got an anniversary season at Summerfest. I think it's the 45th anniversary. Cody Ransom with one away. Cody Ransom starting at short here today. He walked and scored in the second, and he bounced out to second base. He's last time up. He's 0 for 1. Aaron Laffey back on the mound for his third inning. He did give up a run last inning on 2 hits. Morgan drove in a run. Had a base running blunder that caused a double play to end the inning. Got a few games going on this afternoon. Yankees are hosting the Atlanta Braves, and Atlanta leads in that one 9-5. Yankees have been the hottest team in baseball. Their winning streak snapped last night by the Braves. It ended at 10 as Ransom strikes out to get the second out for Laffey. 2 gone in the 6th.
Yeah, it's time to ramp up your efforts, Brewers fans, to get your favorite players to the 2012 All-Star Game in Kansas City. Fans are able to vote online at Brewers.com. All fans voting 21 times or more will be entered to win Ryan Braun's Miller Park Suite for a night. Log on to Brewers.com and cast your vote now. The All-Star Game is Tuesday, July 10th at 6:30 p.m. Central on Fox.
Maldonado drops a bunt down. Laffey throws to first, and how about that? Martin Maldonado adds an infield bunt single to a day that includes a 2-run homer.
Who says catches are slow? Well, he dropped that one down beautifully. Ordinarily, you're thinking extra base hit to get into scoring position with 2 outs and nobody on. Catching the Blue Jays by surprise, and had Laffey not fallen down, that probably would have been an out, but a nice bunt by Maldonado.
Well, the way Gallardo swings the bat, it's not a bad option. So it gives Gallardo a chance here with 2 outs in the inning. And Gallardo into left center. He just missed it on the bat. Rasmus will run it down, and the inning is over. Miller Park. It was 2008. Ryan Braun, fastest since 1951 to get to 150 RBIs. He did it in just his 182nd game. Had 2 home runs in that game against the Blue Jays in 08. Sean Markham did a Blue Jay on the mound. Russell Branyan and Mike Cameron went deep against Sean Markham. And then an inside the park home run by Prince Fielder.
You like the stinger look from Markham?
Yeah, that works.
You like that?
Yeah, I think so. Too bad Markham couldn't pitch in this series. I know he was looking forward to facing his old team, but tightness in the elbow, and as Drew Olson reported earlier, there's a pretty good chance he might end up on the disabled list. You know, Ryan Braun today has 2 hits and a steal. The story has been Gallardo. The Brewers scored 5 runs in the 2nd inning, hit 3 home runs in that inning. But Gallardo has kept this heavy hitting lineup down for the most part. The only run was an Encarnacion home run. That was in the 2nd. Gallardo at the bottom of the Blue Jays order. 33,077 in attendance here today. Great crowd on a Wednesday afternoon. Off day tomorrow, and we certainly encourage you, if you want to make a road trip, it's always great to see the Brewers on the road. It increases your autograph opportunities. But the Brewers will be just a couple of hours down the road in Chicago Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
First time the Brewers have been to the south side of Chicago in quite some time.
That kind of renews a longtime American League rivalry between the Brewers and the White Sox.
Yeah, there was never any love lost between those 2 teams. Had some scraps back in the day. I remember Doug Manzolino and Phil Garner got into a pushing match in a Brewers White Sox game.
Vizquel in the air to shallow center. And Gomez will make the call and the catch for the out. 1 gone. Let's get you caught up here real quick. Our game summary brought to you by Toyota. This is the only tally of the game. Encarnacion hit a homer in the 2nd. For the Brewers, Corey Hart tied it in the bottom of the 2nd. Maldonado followed with a 2-run homer. That came with 2 outs. And then Carlos Gomez hit a 2-out, 2-run homer. Roger Morgan added the 6th run on an RBI single, scoring Gomez. 6-1 Brewers. Phil Garner has a few of those stories. I mean, they didn't call him scrap iron for nothing.
Right. Well, it's not often you see a manager and a third base coach going at it. Doug Manzolino was third base coach for Terry Bevington. He was the manager of the White Sox at the time, and you saw players standing around watching those 2 guys go at it. That was a unique situation.
Where did we see Phil Garner last? We saw him recently, and I can't.
Houston?
No, we saw him this year, didn't we? And where are we?
One in Houston.
There's a strike called on the corner. Gallardo punches out Rajay Davis. Well, it's time now to take a look at our Jimmy John's high-speed delivery. Joel Carreño, who lasted just 3 innings, topping out at 93. Gallardo's been as fast as 94.
Wasn't it in spring training we saw him?
Yeah.
I think, wasn't he kind of a coach with Oakland? Was it Oakland?
That's right. It was the Athletics.
Right.
Yeah, we were talking to him on the field. I knew there was a moment with me and you and Phil Garner.
I knew we'd get
remember.
it took us a while, but he lives in Houston. That was my first guess.
Yes. It's going to be David Cooper to pinch hit. Gallardo with 2 outs in the 7th. Gallardo now with 7 strikeouts. He's continuing a run. Rock, you pointed it out in our open today. Gallardo has given Ron Renicky at least 6 innings in every start going back to April 27th, the last time he did not go at least 6 innings.
Yeah, including today, 10 in a row, 10 starts straight, or at least 6 innings.
He's going after his 3rd win at Miller Park. This would be his 6th win overall. And he has given Ron Renicky and Rick Kranitz just what they were looking for at this point. A deep start. He's contained the Blue Jays. Well, most likely Gallardo's last hitter here, or last inning, as Cooper goes into shallow center. That's going to fall for a base hit. And for the 2nd time in this series, Cooper has a pinch hit single.
That didn't hit it hard, but Gallardo got one up in the zone down the middle, and even though he got jammed, able to muscle it into center field, bringing Brett Laurie to the plate. Extend the inning for the top of this order. And now Gallardo's got his hands full.
Brett Laurie is 0 for 3. Gallardo's done a nice job with him today. For the most part, he's had him off balance. Laurie has hit 3 ground ball outs. Just 22 years of age, Brett Laurie. He was called up last year, getting a chance to be the everyday 3rd baseman this season, right out of the gates. Laurie started his pro career in the Brewers system. He was drafted in 08 in the 1st round, and then he started in the fall league, and his first stop was in Appleton in Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. He was promoted to Double-A towards the end of the 09 season, and then he was in Double-A Huntsville all of 2010. And Laurie draws a walk.
Last thing you want to do with a 5-run lead, start putting men on base. Rick Kranitz going to go out there and give Gallardo a bit of a breather. One swing of the bat, and as we've seen in this series, Toronto gets right back in this game.
Well, a reminder that Saturday on Baseball Night in America, it's the Brewers and the White Sox. Baseball Night in America begins Saturday at 6 p.m. Central, only on Fox. Who's calling that game, Ron?
That'll be Dick Stockton and myself. We'll be in Chicago doing that game. Looking forward to it.
Dick Stockton and Bill Schroeder on the call. Brewers, White Sox. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
You know, I worked with Dick for a number of years in San Antonio.
Basketball, right?
Yeah, with the Spurs.
Maybe off camera you can, when we're done, you can give me a few pointers how to.
Oh, you'll love him, man. He's easy. He's great.
Act. Is he?
Great guy. Yep.
Because if I work with you, I can work with anybody, right?
That's very high maintenance to your left. Makes it easy when you work with anybody else. Got a lot going on, don't we? Here's Colby Rasmus. And he takes a strike. Rasmus has gone back to his old ways at the plate, and you don't see this very often from major league hitters, but he has scooted up as far as he can go in the batter's box. Look how far up in the box he stands.
The only guy you can think of that is that far or even close is Alfonso Soriano, but he's not that far up. Actually in front of home plate as he starts his swing. You don't see many guys do that.
Something that was frowned upon when he was a member of the Cardinals, and he made this switch, and it's made all the difference for Rasmus, who was off to a dismal start this year.
Man, he is in front of home plate and right on top of it too.
Slaps out into left field. That's a base hit. And this is going to bring a run home. Laurie's going to third, and the throw is late. Both runners advance. It's 6-2 Blue Jays. And now Gallardo in a whole lot of trouble here in the 7th inning. That's an RBI single, I believe, for Colby Rasmus. Nope, it's going to go as a double.
Yeah, Rasmus runs well, and I think he would have had second base regardless of where Ryan threw that baseball. And started out 2 outs and nobody on a couple of base hits and a walk, and now the Blue Jays are in pretty good shape with the big boys coming up.
So Gallardo cannot get through the 7th. Well, he was sitting right on the doorstep, and he gave up a hit, a little flare single to the pinch hitter. And now after the Rasmus double, second and third with Bautista coming up. And Gallardo is gone. 6-2 Brewers. He'll leave with a chance to win. Set up the new pitcher when we come back. And 2 hits and a walk since, but Gallardo in our Pizza Hut delivery of the game, he finishes 6 2/3 innings, 7 strikeouts today. At this point, just 2 runs. And trying to win for the 6th time this year. He exits this game with the Brewers up 6-2.
And more importantly, didn't walk a batter until the 6th inning. It looked very good in tough conditions, very hot, very humid here at Miller Park, but Gallardo gave the Brewers 6 2/3 strong innings, and he leaves with the lead.
See the numbers for Giovanni Gallardo. And it's going to be Tim Dillard. The Brewers are banged up in their bullpen right now. Jose Veras not available. Renicky said he would like not to use K-Rod or Axford today, but he might be forced to. So it's going to be Dillard stepping into a big spot once again. Dillard against Jose Bautista with 2 outs in the top of the 7th.
Dillard pitched in last night's ball game, 2/3 of an inning, gave up a couple of hits and a run. Also walked a batter.
Well, the last thing you want to do here is put him on via a walk. As Kerwin Danley might have spotted something. Yeah, I was wondering why he was walking away from the plate. Edwin Encarnacion is next, and he represents the tying run. There's the strike.
That's where you want to put it, right there, down around the knees. Good sink on it. Get Bautista out in front. Ideally, I'd like to get ahead and have him try to hit that breaking pitch, but right at the bottom of the strike zone on that 2-0 count.
And it's 3-1. Not a good spot. Even though the Brewers have a 6-2 lead, the way the Blue Jays have been hitting home runs, they are in the wrong part of the batting order for Milwaukee pitching right now. Shift is on for Bautista. Big pitch coming from Dillard. And a curveball misses.
Wow.
Ball 4.
Where'd that miss?
And the bases are loaded now for Encarnacion.
Like a pretty good pitch, a breaking ball. I guess maybe a little bit low.
So here we go. Bases full of Blue Jays with a run in. Encarnacion takes a ball. There were 2 outs to start this inning. Quickly. Cooper had a pinch hit single. Laurie walked. Rasmus singled in a run, doubled in a run, and then Bautista walked. And it's 2-0. And Rick Granitz is on his way to the mound.
Well, we haven't seen Tim Dillard in this spot very often this year. Tim usually comes in with a lead, a sizable lead, or down by a couple of runs, but this is a new experience for Dillard coming into a lead like this. Fire burning hot for the Toronto Blue Jays. He walked to first, and he's down in the count 2-0 to one of the better power hitters in the American League.
Who has already homered here today. 20 homers for Encarnacion this season. And I hit him. A hit by pitch will bring a run to the plate. And it's 6-3.
Well, not much your defense can do when you're not throwing the ball over the plate. Getting behind in the count. Dillard trying to throw it on the outer half, ends up hitting Encarnacion, so having a tough time putting the ball where he wants it, to say the least.
Well, now Kelly Johnson, a left-handed hitter. Match up in the Blue Jays' favor here. Strike 1. Blue Jays have the tying run at first. Remember, on Monday night, the Blue Jays came back from a 6-1 deficit to tie it. And they are threatening here in the 7th. 0-2 the count. Johnson out in front. Blue Jays have had 5 consecutive base runners. 0-2 to Kelly Johnson. Got him. Dillard strikes out the left-handed hitter. And a wipe of the brow. 2-run score for Toronto. The Brewers lead at 6-3. They get through a mess in the 7th. Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by the new Miller Lite Punch Top Can. It's Miller time. And our Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin text question today. And we're talking about the shadows. Fred in Waukesha asked, who has it harder with the shadows on a day like today? Batters, catchers, or umpires?
Yes.
All three, yeah, but I guess the batters would be the one that you hear the most complaining about. But umpires can lose them a little bit too.
Catchers too. I mean, it's tough on everybody, but I guess you're right. I mean, catchers know what's coming, so that gives them a big advantage. So I guess they're last on that list. Umpires don't have to catch it or hit it. They just have to see it as best they can, but it's toughest on the hitters, no doubt.
Now the Brewers avoiding disaster in the top of the 7th. 2-run score for Toronto at 6-3 now. And Luis Perez is the new Blue Jay pitcher. So they got 3 innings out of the starter Carreño. Aaron Laffey with 3 innings. Just 1 earned run, and now Perez will pitch.
He's having a nice season. This bullpen for the Blue Jays has been pretty good. They've got 4 lefties down there. Perez one of them. He's held left-handed batters to a 192 batting average. Got a number of right-handers to deal with, except for Nigel Morgan, who's on deck.
Brewers are sitting on a comfortable 6-1 lead. Gallardo got the first 2 out of the 7th inning and then could not finish the inning. It looked very similar to the Randy Wolf start on Monday night. The only difference is Dillard was able to get out of the inning with the lead intact. This Blue Jays team will not go away quietly. Not the way they swing the bats. Carlos Gomez, Nigel Morgan, Ryan Braun to start it. Rubber game of this 3-game series. The Brewers trying to win a series. Second consecutive series victory after they took 2 out of 3 from the Twins over the weekend. And a strike called. Inside corner. Gomez is rung up. Out number 1.
He's got a good fastball, does Perez. That was 95 right there. Right on the inside corner. Fastballs and changeups. He kind of whips that ball from behind his back. Throws it straight armed and catches Gomez looking on the inside corner.
Nigel Morgan takes a strike. Other games going on in the big leagues today. Got some day baseball. The Royals are leading the Astros 2-1. Kansas City has found themselves in a pennant race. They started the day 4.5 back, despite being 6 games under 500, trailing the Cleveland Indians.
Brew Crew got them hot.
Yeah.
They were not playing very good baseball until the Brewers got to Kansas City.
That's a strike. Nigel Morgan unable to check his swing. It's 1-2. But the Mariners leading the Diamondbacks 5-2. That game's in the 3rd inning. Moving to the 4th now. Morgan back up the middle. A base hit. Nigel Morgan responding with 2 hits today. 2 for 4 and an RBI.
Nice approach, lefty versus lefty, not over swinging, just trying to put the bat on the baseball, and that pitch outer half, actually off the outside corner, and Nigel able to hit it hard up the middle.
So a base runner for Ryan Braun. Brewers will look to add on to their lead here, and you need to do it against the Blue Jays, a team that has come in here to Milwaukee and hit 10 homers in this series. Braun sends one high and deep, and there is number 20. A 2-run home run for Ryan Braun. 8-3 Brewers.
I can only imagine what he could do in day games if he could see the baseball. I didn't take my eye off of that one. I thought that might have had Bernie slide. We saw one of those already in this series. Way back, second deck and left. When he hits them, they stay hit. And that is a blast to left.
You see the little tug of the jersey?
You're right about that, by the way.
We didn't need to know that one was gone, but he knew he got it.
He picked that out a couple of homestands ago.
Boy, a majestic, towering fly ball for a home run. 20 homers now for Braun. Gives him 51 runs batted in.
Edwin Encarnacion on Friday hit one up there off of Bernie's slide. I thought that had a chance.
Maybe he got it down toward the end of the bat a little bit. Ramos Ramirez, a big cut. He's looking for his first hit.
Well, he hit a little bit higher than did Encarnacion. He centers on a little bit. Look at this. I mean, you talk about a picture perfect approach and point of contact. That is just ideal. Head is down. He's got a good pivot on that, on those hips.
There's a fair ball. Ramirez with extra bases here in the 7th inning. So Ramos Ramirez collects his first hit. It's a double. And the Brewers right back in business.
That was a slider down and in. Watch Ramirez talk about popping the hips open. Hips, then hands, and then the bat follows. Keeps it fair. And a 1-out double. Can never have enough on the board against this club. Keep it going.
So after Braun's 20th homer, Ramirez with his 20th double to go along with 9 home runs. Runner at second with 1 out for Corey Hart. Now the Brewers giving the Blue Jays a little bit of their own medicine today. Milwaukee with 4 home runs in this game. They hit 3 of them in the second. Corey Hart had the first one. Last time the Brewers hit 3 home runs in an inning. Got to go back to July of 2011. It was Hart, Braun, and Uni Betancourt. And that was against Arizona last July, and they hit 5 home runs in that game. Two and two. There is a final already in today. The Atlanta Braves defeat the Yankees 10-5. Braves go in and win the last 2 games of that series. Tommy Hanson improving to 8-4 with a win today. Beat Phil Hughes. Into right center. Bautista will size it up, and he's got it for the out. There's a bunch of home runs in that game too, Rock. The Yankees hit 4 homers in that game.
And Jeter went deep. I know A-Rod went deep. Who else?
Eric Chavez and Robinson Cano. So the Yankees are back on top of the home run race as a team. Braves hit 5 homers. David Ross, Martin Prado, Freddie Freeman, and the J. Hay Kid, Jason Hayward, hit 2.
That might be the best home run hitting ballpark in all of baseball.
No doubt.
Yankee Stadium.
No power alleys whatsoever.
Of course, they have some pretty good home run hitters. That doesn't hurt them. But that is a launching pad there at Yankee Stadium.
How about the Braves in a battle in the National League East? They had a home and home with the Yankees this year. The Brewers had a similar path last season. They didn't do a home and home, but the Brewers in their 96 win campaign a season ago went to New York, to Fenway, and home against the Rays. As Weeks pops this one up, this will end the inning. But a good one for the Brewers as Ryan Braun gets the 2 runs back. It's his 20th homer of the season on June 20th. Plated in the top of the 7th by the Blue Jays. Ryan Braun, one swing of the bat, his 20th homer. And 8 runs on 11 hits for the Brewers. Our Miller Lite, what's on tap? Brewers will take tomorrow off, and then Friday and Sunday's game on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Saturday will be on Fox National. Baseball Night in America. Bill Schroeder and Dick Stockton will be on the call for that game. Braun keeps climbing the list. 181 career home runs, and this is players through their first 6 seasons. Prolific home run hitting. And Braun is now just 11 away from catching Prince Fielder. So Dillard is back out there. Nice play, Cody Ransom, and he takes care of Jeff Mathis. Boy, good play.
Yeah, he made that look easy. That's not an easy play. First, the backhand pickup, he hit it well, and then kind of nonchalant. I mean, as routine as it gets. Watch the way he turns around, and just like it's nothing, that long throw over to first base. He's got a good arm.
Yeah, he does. He has been very impressive. The Brewers picked him up. He was designated for assignment by the Arizona Diamondbacks. And we haven't seen a whole lot of Cody Ransom through the years. I remember him as a minor league player, actually. He has been a bright surprise defensively, especially, and then he's hit for some power. He's still nursing a hand injury. He's got a finger injury that he's trying to play through, which affects his hitting a little bit.
But he has been very solid at shortstop, and that's all that Ron Renicky can ask of him. You can't expect a whole lot of offense out of these guys that have been brought in to replace the hurt Brewers.
Omar Vizquel with a base hit. His first of the day.
Well, you catch and throw, you make all the plays at shortstop, you earn your keep.
This lineup for the Blue Jays dramatically changes once you get past Kelly Johnson in the 5-hole. But you have to control the bottom of the order, because the top of the order, the first 5 hitters, especially the first 4 in this series, have just been on fire this entire week. There's a base hit. Well, Dillard not fooling many right now. He was able to get out of a mess in the 7th after allowing a run to score. But back-to-back hits. And John Farrell is going to make a move and bring on JP Arancibia to hit here. No lead is safe. That has been the theme in this one for both teams.
No, that was just a huge 2-run home run from Milwaukee in that 7th inning. Give yourself a little separation, a 5-run lead. You're able to keep Tim Dillard in there. Brewers now have activity out in their bullpen.
So Kranitz taking as much time as they'll let him here. Look at Mike Fiers is actually throwing in the bullpen. Juan Perez loosening as well. Fiers, a starting pitcher who is scheduled to start on Sunday in Chicago. That's how desperate the Brewers are for arms right now. So it's going to be JP Arancibia, the everyday catcher for the Blue Jays, not in the starting lineup today. He's pinch hitting with 2 on. And a breaking ball strike. Just looking at the Blue Jays on deck circle, they have Yunel Escobar in the on deck circle. So something must be going on with Brett Laurie. He's out of the game. Oh, and 2 to Arancibia. We'll try to get an update on Brett Laurie as soon as we can.
Can't imagine what happened. He walked his last time up and scored on a hit batter.
0-2 pitch. Arancibia lays off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, when you see Mike Fiers loosening up in the bullpen, that tells you where the Brewers bullpen is right now. There's a swing and a miss. Throw to second on the wrong side of the bag. A strikeout for Dillard. Arancibia punches out number 2. They had a big out after back-to-back hits. See if we can see something here. Brett Laurie sliding into third base last inning. He advanced on the Rasmus double, and yeah, something grabbed him there. You can see him barking a little.
Yeah, he's talking to the third base coach, and I guess that's the only thing that could have been, because it's the only time he really had to run very hard on that double by Rasmus.
A good catch by our crew. Escobar on the ground, Ransom across the diamond, and Hart keeps a toe on the bag. That's the inning. So Tim Dillard gives up a couple of hits but retires the next 2. And we head to the bottom of the 8th.
Of the 8th inning, Davey and I are getting set for Brewers Live post game, and it's been a big day for home runs. The Brewers kind of turning the tables on the Blue Jays. They've hit 4 today, including 3 in 1 inning. Now they may not be back to back to back, but they've answered their 3, and it's propelled them to a big lead.
Well, they certainly have, and the thing which has been good is that they've answered, but you know what? They're in Miller Park, and the Brewers now are putting that offense together at home.
The home runs are Marshfield Clinic shining moment for the Brew Crew, 4 in all, including the latest by Ryan Braun. And so a lot of big contributors as we take a look at the in-game box score, and the Brewers need to hold on here because, there's always going to be fight in the Blue Jays, but chance to win this series. And Davey and I will be set for Brewers Live post-game after the game. And, of course, the birthday boy getting ready for the instructional as well is Davey Nelson. So, boy, when you get to be Davey's age, you just got to appreciate the fact that he's out here. He's ready for the instructional, Rock. You ready for him? Here we go.
Man, Craig.
Davey doesn't look a day over 68.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't act. Little birthday instructional. That'll be fun. So a couple of changes here. Omar Vizquel moves over to third base. Escobar stays in to play short after pinch hitting for Brett Laurie. And the new pitcher, Rock, is Jason Frazier as we play in the bottom of the 8th. 8-3 Milwaukee.
Yeah, blown save for him in last night's ball game. And gave up the big grand slam to Aramis Ramirez in the 6th inning.
Cody Ransom leads off for the Crew. Martin Maldonado to follow. And then the pitcher spot. Give Tim Dillard some credit. He worked a scoreless 8th. Teetering in the 7th, he came in for Gallardo. Did allow a run. He hit a batter with the bases loaded, but then struck out Kelly Johnson, stranding the bases full. At the time, the Blue Jays had the go-ahead run at the plate. And then Dillard comes back in the 8th on a day that Ron Renicky desperately needs innings out of his relievers. He's able to get through the 8th inning.
Not wanting to use the guys at the end of his bullpen, obviously, and that's why he's got fires up in the bullpen. This is the day for his side session. So perhaps waiting on to see what happened today, giving him an opportunity. He has worked out of the bullpen from Milwaukee. Not this year. Things are tough when you have a guy, a starter, skip his side session before the ball game to see what happens during the game. You know that your bullpen needs some help.
Well, Jose Veras is still unavailable due to a groin strain, and he might end up on the disabled list. There's Fires, and at this moment you don't know if he's preparing to come in for the 9th or if he's just continuing what would be his side session, preparing for his next start on Sunday. And at this point,
he's got to be coming in.
Tim Dillard has gone an inning and a third, but he's thrown a lot of high stress pitches.
Well, he's a guy that can give you extended innings if you need him to, I guess, but you never know. I mean, with this offense from Toronto, this game is certainly not in the bag yet. We'll see.
Full count to Cody Ransom. Out to the shortstop Escobar for the first out. It's been a good series offensively for Milwaukee. Scored 7 runs on Tuesday, 9 runs on 10 hits yesterday, and today 8 runs on 11 hits. Maldonado, a big day at the plate. Had a bunt single his last time up. Hit a 2-run homer in the 2nd that gave the Brewers the lead. A 3-homer inning for the first time this year for Milwaukee. Brewers scored 5 in the 2nd. Nyjer Morgan had an RBI single in the 5th, and then Braun hit a 2-run homer in the 7th. That was Braun's 20th. And he is at the top of the National League in home runs, passing Carlos Beltran, who sits with 19. Cardinals are in Detroit later tonight. Jake Westbrook against Rick Porcello. The division leading Cincinnati Reds also later tonight. They're at Cleveland taking on the Indians. Bronson Arroyo and Justin Masterson. Cincinnati has lost the first 2 games in that series with the Tribe after they had won 6 in a row. Brewers have a lot of work to do in the division. They're going to get back in it, and they need to do it quickly. Win today for the Crew, it would be 5 games under and a chance to go 6.5 back if the Reds lost later tonight. Brewers haven't been very good at home this year. That was a big part of the success last season. Had the most home wins in the National League last year. Milwaukee needs a win today to get back to 500 at home. They're 17 and 18.
It'd be awfully difficult to repeat what they did last year at Miller Park, though. That just doesn't happen every year. Incredible home success for Milwaukee. Much better on the road than they were a year ago, at least at this time. Just got to get healthy. That's what it comes down to. They haven't been healthy all year.
Some reinforcements on the way. Marco Estrada pitching tomorrow on a rehab assignment in Nashville. Expected to return Tuesday to the rotation if everything goes well Thursday. And Travis Ishikawa and Cesar Izturis also on the verge of returning to the big league club.
Some interesting decisions that the Brewers have. I mean, some guys that are here right now that have played very well. See how it all shakes out. It's not going to be long before that's all going to come to a head.
Long battle here. Jason Frazier and Martin Maldonado. Pitch number 8. And it's 2-2. By the way, the report from the Blue Jays clubhouse, Brett Laurie out with a right knee injury, right knee soreness. Not expected to be major.
Not in nagging injuries, guys on the disabled list, but the Brewers are dealing with a lot of that too. Guys playing at less than 100%. But Brett Laurie, young kid, 22 years old, running to third base. A little bit of soreness behind his left knee, actually his right knee.
Yeah, you wonder if that's knee, hamstring. You know, the hamstring could run down there. We'll see how Laurie comes out of this, though. Maldonado into center field. Colby Rasmus on the run. And he can't get there. It's off the base of the wall. What a battle. Martin Maldonado finishes it with a double.
10 pitches. Ends up centering on one. 10 pitches, 8 of them strikes. Pitch number 10 ends up off the center field wall.
It's the first double of his career. He has 3 hits today. He's a triple away from the cycle, Rock.
Man, that's the tough one for Maldonado. Fastball down and away, and Maldonado was getting a piece of just about everything from Frazier in that at bat. Colby Rasmus not able to get there. He plays very shallow, maybe too shallow from time to time, but Maldonado gets his first double.
Hit number 12 for the Brewers. Maldonado with 3 of them. And here is George Kataris pinch hitting for Tim Dillard. Gutierrez has a pinch hitter hitting .400. 6 for 15 at the plate. Had a double yesterday. There's a strike from Frazier. That'll close the book on Tim Dillard, who goes an inning and a third, 2 hits, no runs, a walk and a couple of strikeouts. He was in the deep waters in the 7th inning, coming in for Gallardo, and then allowed back-to-back hits in the 8th. But he pitched out of both jams. Brewers leading 8-3 here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
And both innings, it was the slider from Tim Dillard that got him out of a big jam against the lefty and against the right-handers. Bottom line, getting the job done, Dillard.
Giovanni Gallardo finishes with 6 2/3 today, 3 earned runs. In line for his 6th win of the season. But the way the Blue Jays have been swinging the bat, nothing feels safe at this point. Even a 5-run lead. There's a strike called outside corner. Gutierrez is rung up.
And he stayed there the entire at bat on George, and George able to foul a couple off. Never really got one in his wheelhouse.
Toronto has a day off tomorrow. They're in the middle of a 9-game road trip over 10 days. Blue Jays will head to Miami next, taking on the Marlins in a 3-game series, and then they finish their road trip in Boston. All right next to each other. Milwaukee, Miami, and Boston.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's easy.
Right.
Easy travel. You could drive them. Carlos Gomez with 2 away. Maldonado at second with 2 away, and Gomez chases one. 0-2 the count. These two teams have combined to hit 16 home runs in this 3-game series. Blue Jays with 10, and the Brewers with 6. 4 of them today for Milwaukee.
There's been a lot of big swings in this series, hasn't it? Big old, as George Bamberg would say, big old uppercuts.
As Gomez strikes out, and that'll do it in the bottom of the 8th. So we go to the 9th. Last call for the Blue Jays. 8-3. Brewers have the lead. 8-3 as we head to the 9th inning. The Brewers trying to win this series with a victory today. 3 outs away from that, and with a beat-up bullpen, Ron Renicky is going to send Mike Fiers to the mound. Ryan Braun has been taken out, and Nori Aoki is in left field. So Braun is out, Fiers is in, leading to all kind of speculation. You wonder if maybe Renicky's thinking about Tyler Thornburg starting Sunday in Chicago. We'll see.
And he's going to keep that close to the vest. We'll see, but you can only imagine what this might have been like today had Yvonne Gallardo not had it and lasted maybe 3 or 4 innings. It would have been a disaster out in the bullpen. But that didn't happen. Yo stepped it up 6 2/3 for Ron Renicky today, making his decisions much easier. And the Brewers offense helped him as well.
8 runs on 12 hits. And the Brewers offense back intact on this homestand. They scored 24 runs in this 3-game stretch, which is the most runs they have scored in a 3-game stretch all season. That includes a 3-game stretch that involved the 16-run game against the Twins. So this is the best the Brewers offense has been this year, and they've needed it. Renicky said he would stay away from Veras. He said he'd like not to use K-Rod and Axford, but he's trying to piece this one together with Tim Dillard and Mike Fiers to get to the finish line. Fiers will have to deal with Colby Rasmus, Jose Bautista, and then Edwin Encarnacion. Those 3 have done some serious damage in this series. Fiers has made 4 starts for the Brewers. His 2 road starts have been outstanding, picking up wins in 2 road starts. Beat the Dodgers and the Twins on the road. His first 4 big league starts of his career. We saw a little bit of him last year as a reliever. Just got a taste of the big leagues last season.
You wonder how much the fact that he's out of rhythm here and out of his routine, working out of the bullpen. He certainly got some runs to work with, but it's got to be tough duty for him here today.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Rasmus. He doubled in a run in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 3 today. Three-two pitch. Rasmus swings and misses.
Took a little off. Had him out in front. A good pitch by Mike Fiers. 87 miles an hour. With a little bit of movement, and Rasmus swings right through it. 2-seamer.
So the first out for Fiers. Here is Jose Bautista now. Takes a strike. He throws a 4-seam fastball and a 2-seam fastball. All depends on how you hold it on the laces. The 4-seamer is across the laces. The 2-seamer is with it. And that's why the velocity is a couple of miles an hour slower with a 2-seamer, has more sink to it. Bautista pulls it foul and out of play.
Well, the 4-seamer you can throw harder because you've got your tips of your fingers on the seams. That's your velocity pitch. That's the straight pitch. The 2-seamer, you only have a portion of your fingers on the seams, the sides of your fingers, and that's where you get your movement, but not as much velocity.
Fiers has a good curveball. He throws a changeup. And he's got a little deception to him as well. Bautista bounces to Ricky Weeks. Out number 2. This would be a major victory for Ron Renicky and Rick Kranitz if they finish this one out with Dillard and Fires able to get to the end, able to get the last 7 outs of this game. Got a day off tomorrow. Should come back fresh and ready to go with their bullpen beginning Friday in Chicago, and you have Marco Estrada returning soon, only adding to the mix in the starting rotation. Encarnacion takes a strike. Well, some pitchers' earned run averages beat up in this series, but the Brewers an out away from polishing off a series win against Toronto. 1-2. One-two pitch to Encarnacion. And it's ball 2. Brewers scoring 24 runs in the 3 games on 35 hits. 6 of those hits home runs in the series. And that one didn't miss by much. Erwin Danley.
Not ready to go home quite yet.
Wants to see one more pitch, at least one more. Good crowd today, over 33,000. This brief 3-game homestand. The payoff. Out of play. Got him. That's it. Fire strikes out Encarnacion. And the ball game is over. The Brewers win. They win the series. They take 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays as Mike Fiers gets a taste of finishing a ball game. 8-3 the final score. Much more still to come on this one. Craig Kashan, what do you have coming up on Brewers Live?
Well, we're going to talk about consecutive series wins for the Brewers. This is what we've been talking about, and they're starting to put a little string together. They did well in the 3-game homestand. We'll hear from Ron Renicky, the Brewer players as well. They also broke out the home run bats as well.